Hi, it's me, Lindsay Henneke. I help women see the truth of who they really are and pull out the strengths, insights, and clarity they need to grow into their next level. I am so glad you're here. Welcome to Feel Good Alcohol Free, where each week we'll explore how to feel so effing good in your life you won't even think about ruining it with a hangover. Okay, let's dive in. I want to start today by sharing a story about a woman I once worked with. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah was the definition of high achieving. She had climbed the corporate ladder, raised 2 kids, kept the entire household running like a well-oiled machine, and somehow managed to train for a marathon on top of it all. Sarah was the one who handled last-minute crises at work like a pro, the mom who always showed up for school events, and the friend who remembered every birthday. People looked at her and thought, she has it all together. But here's the part of Sarah's story I want to emphasize, the reason why we started working together. Every night, Sarah would look at the wine glass in her hand and feel a deep sense of shame. She was good at everything except this. She'd hit every professional target, made sure her kids were thriving, yet this one thing, this drinking, kept slipping through her fingers. Does this sound familiar? I thought it might. The shame Sarah was feeling about her drinking as a successful, high-achieving woman in her 40s was familiar to me too. The guilt of waking up in the morning knowing that you said you wouldn't drink again, but there you are pouring that glass of wine. It's almost like you've let yourself down, like your strength and willpower that carry you everywhere else fail you when it comes to alcohol. You think, why can't I just control this? Why is it the one thing I can't get a grip on? You feel isolated, misunderstood, and it feels like everyone else has their life together except you. You know how to be successful at work, at home, but when it comes to alcohol, the rules seem different. You start asking yourself, is it even possible to have the life I want without it? And that uncertainty is where it hurts the most. If you're nodding along right now, I need you to hear this. There was nothing wrong with Sarah, and there is nothing wrong with you. You are not the problem. It's alcohol doing exactly the very thing it is made to do. Keep you coming back for more. And I'm about to prove with 2 very real, very scientific reasons why your brain keeps pulling you back to alcohol, even when you don't want it to. Okay, let's get into it. There are 2 major psychological reasons why alcohol feels like the one thing you can't get under control: decision-making impairments and motivation hijacking. Now, you might be wondering, why is this so relevant for women like you? Here's the thing. High-achieving women are used to making decisions and staying motivated. You're driven by success, by goals, by pushing through obstacles. You thrive in environments where your decision-making and motivation are on point. But alcohol disrupts both of these. When your brain's ability to make decisions is impaired, it doesn't just affect your ability to choose sobriety over alcohol. It impacts your entire life. You start doubting yourself in areas where you used to be confident. You question your choices, your goals, and the path you've worked so hard to carve out. So I'll go back to Sarah. Sarah felt like she had her career under control. But the truth was, her confidence was starting to slip. She was second-guessing her performance and found it difficult to take useful feedback from leadership. And when your motivation gets hijacked, it's even worse. Motivation isn't just about the big wins, it's about the everyday drive that keeps you moving forward. Now, without it, Even the things you used to love and excel at are going to feel harder. And when alcohol gets in the way of that drive, you start to feel like you're stuck in this cycle. And it's not that you're not motivated. Your motivation has just been redirected to something that holds you back, not moves you forward. So, again, Sarah was feeling less motivated to do anything in her free time. This time last year, she was training for a marathon, waking up early, sticking to a schedule, and feeling unstoppable. But now, she could barely find the motivation to do her daily workout, something that used to be second nature to her. She told herself, I was just tired, that life had gotten busier. But deep down, she knew the truth. Drinking had slowly taken over her mental energy. What used to light her up, running, setting goals, pushing herself, now felt like a chore. She wasn't skipping workouts because she was lazy. Her brain had been rewired to prioritize alcohol over everything else that used to bring her joy. Instead of lacing up her running shoes, she found herself negotiating with herself about whether she should drink tonight, whether she could cut back, whether she really had a problem. And that, my friends, is the trap. Alcohol slowly starts replacing the things that once made you feel alive. Your motivation shifts away from what makes you strong and confident and locks on to the next drink instead. And if that hit home for you, I need you to know you can get that motivation back. You can start feeling like yourself again. But first, you have to see what's really happening and start making the shifts that put you back in control. So that's why understanding these two psychological factors is so critical for the high achieving woman. It helps you see that what you're experiencing isn't like a personal flaw. It's the science of how alcohol impacts your brain. And once you understand it, you can start fighting back and reclaiming control. Okay, let's dive in. The first one, decision-making impairments. You probably pride yourself on being a great decision maker. At work, at home, in life, you think things through, you weigh the options, you make smart, strategic choices. But here's the thing. Alcohol literally rewires your brain's ability to make decisions. It messes with your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking and impulse control. Over time, your brain starts prioritizing alcohol as a solution to stress, a solution to exhaustion, or even just boredom. It learns that a drink equals relief. And before you even realize what's happening, that glass of wine at the end of the day isn't really a decision anymore. It's a conditioned response. Maybe you had a meeting heavy day at work, back to back, from the moment you walked in to the moment you had to rush out the door to pick up your kids from baseball practice. By the time you finally pull into the driveway, you're drained. You sit in traffic, scrolling mindlessly, already thinking about everything that still needs to get done tonight. You step inside your house, you drop your bag by the door, and you head straight to the kitchen. Without even changing out of your work clothes, you tie on an apron, preheat the oven, and without hesitation, you've poured yourself a glass of wine. You didn't even think about it. It wasn't a conscious decision. There was no debate, no moment of consideration. It was automatic, like muscle memory. And that's exactly how alcohol rewires your brain. Your decision-making system, the part of your brain that should be evaluating, do I really want this? Is this serving me? That part has been hijacked. You might have started drinking to unwind or reward yourself after a long day, but over time, your brain learns that pattern. It stops being a choice and it becomes a reflex. You don't pause to think about whether you actually want the drink. Your brain just delivers the suggestion on autopilot, and before you even realize it, you're halfway through the glass. And here's the real kicker. The more automatic it becomes, the harder it is to even see the pattern. You think you are just making a small decision at the end of a long day, but really, it's not even a decision anymore. It's this habit loop that your brain has locked into. And that's why it feels so hard to stop. It's not because you're weak or lack willpower. It's because your brain has learned this shortcut. But here's the good news. You can retrain it. You can get back into the driver's seat. But first, you have to recognize that right now, alcohol is making those decisions for you. This is why willpower alone does not work. You're not failing at sobriety because you're weak. Your brain has simply been trained to make one choice over and over again. There's good news. You can train it to make a different one. This is exactly what I teach in my coaching programs. Learning how to rewire your brain so that alcohol isn't the automatic answer anymore. It starts with boundaries, balancing your needs, and tackling the resentment and limiting beliefs that keep you stuck. Okay, let's dive into the second reason high achievers struggle with alcohol. Motivation hijacking. You've built your entire life on motivation, setting goals, hitting targets, pushing yourself. You don't just want to succeed, you expect yourself to. So here's where alcohol screws with that. It hijacks your brain's dopamine system, the chemical that fuels motivation. Over time, your brain starts associating alcohol with a reward. And not just any reward, but a shortcut to feeling good. And because your brain is wired for efficiency, it learns to prioritize the fastest way to get dopamine. Now, that's why the drink at the end of the day feels so irresistible, even when you don't want it. It's not that you're unmotivated, it's that your motivation has been redirected to something that doesn't actually serve you. Okay. It's a sunny Saturday afternoon. You woke up early, you laced up your running shoes and knocked out a solid 5 miles before most of the neighborhood was even awake. Feeling productive, you grabbed a coffee, tackled the grocery shopping while your husband was still asleep, and you got home just in time to start prepping the backyard for summer. Pulling weeds, planting flowers, organizing the patio. You even managed to squeeze in a few loads of laundry between it all. By 2 p.m., you're feeling accomplished. You've earned a break. So you mix up a pitcher of margaritas, pour yourself a glass, and sink into your lounge chair. At first, it feels great. You sip, you relax, and you tell yourself, this is my reward. But then something shifts. That energy you had earlier, it's gone. The motivation to keep going, to finish the last few things on your list, completely drained. You had thought about going for a bike ride later, maybe calling a friend to make dinner plans, but now you feel sluggish, a little hazy. Instead of gearing up for the rest of the day, you start sinking deeper into your chair. The thought of doing anything feels like a chore. So what happened? Your brain hijacked your motivation. Alcohol artificially boosts dopamine at first, giving you that instant gratification that, I deserve this feeling. But as it wears off, it crashes your natural drive. That same brain that woke up ready to conquer the day, now it's telling you, meh, just stay here. Let's do nothing. And over time, this pattern builds. That big Saturday energy, it starts to shrink. The runs happen less. The garden gets neglected. The ambitious projects, they start to fade. And the worst part, you don't even realize it's happening. You chalk it up to being tired, needing a break. But in reality, alcohol is subtly robbing you of your motivation, little by little, weekend by weekend. And if you've ever looked around and thought, why don't I have the drive I used to? Why do I feel stuck? This, my friend, might be why. So What is the key to breaking free? I am so glad you asked. You don't need more motivation. You need to take it back. And that starts with deciding who you want to become, what kind of woman you want to be, and shifting your focus to that future version of yourself instead of staying stuck in this loop of self-blame. So, now that you know why alcohol has such a grip on you, let's talk about what you can actually do about it. You can reclaim control over your brain's decision making and motivation. This isn't some magic trick or secret potion. It's about understanding that this is a process, and it starts with you deciding that you're no longer going to let alcohol control your life. And Sarah, she figured it out. That moment, standing in her kitchen, staring at that glass of wine, feeling the weight of exhaustion and shame, was a turning point. She realized she didn't want to keep living in that cycle of stress, escape, and regret. Sarah wanted more. At first, it wasn't easy. She had to sit with the discomfort. She had to face the emotions she'd been numbing. She had to relearn how to unwind without reaching for a drink. But slowly, through repetition, patience, and surrounding herself with support, things started to shift. She started waking up with energy again, not foggy regret. She became more present at work, tackling challenges with clarity instead of burnout. At home, she wasn't just physically there with her family, she was mentally there too, actually listening, actually engaging, actually enjoying those moments instead of counting down the hours until her next drink. And now she feels at peace in a way she never thought possible. Alcohol is no longer front and center. It doesn't take up space in her mind. She's not constantly negotiating with herself, wondering if she should drink, if she should stop, if she should try harder to control it. She's free. And the best part, she didn't just quit drinking. She's really gotten herself back. She knows herself now, and that is the real win. So, if Sarah can do it, you can too. Here's the truth. You've already been successful at so many things in your life because you have the qualities that make you unbeatable. The same qualities that made you excel at work, in relationships, and achieving your goals, these same qualities will help you take back control over your choices and your motivation when it comes to alcohol. But this is a journey, not an overnight switch. If you're feeling overwhelmed, that's okay. I'm here to remind you that you have everything you need to make it through. You just need the right tools, the right mindset, and a support system that gets it. Because this isn't something that you should be doing alone. Here's where things get really good. Because not only do you have what it takes to quit drinking, you're actually going to be more interesting when you do. Okay, I know. You might be thinking, but won't I stand out? Yes. Yes. And that is the best part. Think about it. The most interesting people in the world are the ones who go against the grain, the ones who do something unexpected, the ones who make people stop and say, wait, how did you do that? But let's be real. This part is terrifying because for years you've believed alcohol is your social safety net. It's what makes you feel comfortable, what takes the edge off, what helps you connect with people. Giving it up isn't just about not drinking. It's about confronting the fear that you won't belong without it. That fear is what keeps you stuck. It convinces you that without alcohol, you'll be awkward, you'll be left out, you won't know what to do with your hands. And that belief, it's a lie. Because the truth is, alcohol has been robbing you of genuine confidence this whole time. When you remove alcohol, you're not losing your identity. You're actually reclaiming it. You become the woman who is truly present, fully herself, and unshakably self-assured. I'll give you an example. I used to travel a lot for work, and there was this coworker that I used to drink with all the time in airports. When he found out I had quit, and like not just for a break, but for good, his reaction shocked me. He wasn't judgmental, he wasn't weird about it. He was impressed. He straight up told me, I wish I could do that. I'm actually jealous. I want you to let that sink in for a second. People want this. They just don't know how. And when you're the woman in the room who is confident, at ease, not leaning on a drink to make the night interesting, people notice. They respect it. And honestly, they kind of wish they had what you had. So here is a powerful thing I want you to consider. As you rack up alcohol-free milestones, whether it's a day, a week, a month, or a year, your confidence will grow. And as that confidence grows, so will your motivation and drive. What happens when you start checking off those milestones is that you begin to prove to yourself that you are capable of doing the hard things. Each day you are getting stronger, and with that strength comes an inner motivation that you haven't felt in a long time, because now you're seeing tangible results. You're not just trying to quit anymore. You are quitting, and every milestone is a win that builds upon the last. It's not just about staying alcohol free. It's about showing yourself what you're made of. And that confidence is contagious. It will spill over into every other area of your life. Suddenly, you'll find yourself taking on new projects at work, reconnecting with hobbies you've put aside, or making bigger, bolder decisions that align with your true self. The more you build your alcohol-free milestones, the more you'll believe in yourself and your ability to create the life you want. And the best part, as you regain that self-belief, you'll feel more and more motivated to keep going. So here's the thing about racking up alcohol-free milestones. It's a process that takes time, but with each day, each week, and each milestone, your confidence is going to grow. This is not a fast journey. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and suddenly feel like you've got everything figured out. That is not how growth works. What I can promise you, though, is that if you stay persistent, if you stick with it and trust that each day brings you closer to the woman you want to become, you will start seeing change. It's about repetition. The more you say no to alcohol, the easier it becomes to keep saying no. And the more you build that muscle, the more confident you'll feel about your ability to make the best decisions for yourself. And yes, it can be frustrating. It might even feel like progress is slow at times, but every step forward is still a step in the right direction. Have patience with yourself. Now, here's a key thing. Doing this alone is the worst. Trust me, I've been there. It's so easy to slip back into the comfort zone when you're on your own. And it's in the discomfort that you grow. That's where the magic happens. You need to surround yourself with people who understand, who can hold you accountable, and who can remind you when things feel tough that this is part of the process. Without that support, it's too easy to let go and fall back into those old patterns. And I'm here to tell you, don't go it alone. The growth that happens when you stay committed with accountability and a support system is immense. It's what makes this journey not just possible, but sustainable. So, if this episode hit home for you, I want you to do one thing. Go download my free resource. This is where you start taking back control of your brain, where you start making decisions from a place of confidence instead of impulse, where you start seeing yourself as the woman who already has what it takes to do this, because you do. And I can't wait to see where you go from here. That's it for me. I can't wait to see you on next week's episode.